me and enjoy your conversation.
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Malus. Excuse me, miss. Do you need anything from us?
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time.
Ah, if it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rusula sent us a lot of mora and...
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that comes...
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you, because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation. I know only the full truth could bring closure to you.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but on the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have more or less...
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't believe...
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth pit. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought Mora was everything. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still found out by the higher-ups.
They found out about his betrayal?
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us. I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion I eventually came to. Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of us, even if he fired the shot that killed my husband. It was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for me to hate...
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man.
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like...
Yeah, Papa was a really...
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then he must have had his regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to hear. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
You really think so? That's the first time anyone...
Drinking and bantering away with us at the table. After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without thinking much of it. Who knew that we would hear 2 gunshots ring out right after? My first reaction was that Mr. Callis's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a mad dash toward the... But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callis was standing...
So you also remember 2 gunshots then?
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone. Reason being, Mr. Callis had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before running to the scene. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned. Do you think there was a third person there who...
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring an extra gun. The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying, Mr... But hold on. If that's what had happened, he didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine. And chose instead to prove his... Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front of his eyes?
About that, Malus told me a thing or two. I'll tell you everything.
I understand. Then I'll leave Mr. Callis. And if I may just say one more thing. Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callis, but it was Mr. Callis's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks no matter what others might say. He'll always be the man I respect the most.
Don't worry. I will definitely. You and all our other comrades at the Spina. Hello.
How may I help you?
I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please let him know?
Sure. I will let...
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young as I used to be.
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Mar. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened in the opera house.
Yes, I've never...
Oh, you were at the opera house too?
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf.
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk of drunkards.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation.
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right?
Yes, I was reminded of your father's case right away.
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof, but
Oh, and...
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get... If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably wouldn't even be here.
Oh, you're giving us too much credit. Wasn't it you who protected us?
Alas, it seems things are heating up again. But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain safe. If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabri...
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't intend to go into hiding. Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry, my age is catching up with me, so it'll take me a while to recall my memory. The Confrérie was responsible for that banquet, so I was out and about the whole time making... Then I heard the sound of a gunshot, and the rest was history.
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself.
Sounds good. Just let me know if you ever need... All my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend however much it...
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough.
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that Callus probably...
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered. If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father. Had he refused, he and his...
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for murder. And once he had completed his mission, he'd be of no more use to his boss.
Huh. So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the Order. Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still just... Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex, it's obvious that our enemy...
Do you think he knew, even then, that we...
Given everything that's happened since, but who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Florent? It is true that he was... But as Spina di Rosula's advisor...
So you're saying he's too broke to afford...
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would be... Thierry, you say? Huh. But I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us.
Yeah. Had he actually tampered... If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out when and...
Uncle Marcel? My father... And with funds from the Confrérie, still really hard for me to imagine, though. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of more... Who could it be? You know, if you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most...
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't...
Malus has always been very reliable. The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch... Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to...
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes. Malus did say that charging straight in there, we need far more solid proof.
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking for you.
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the guards?
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left. We've got another trial on our hands.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What? Is that someone you know?
Yeah, we know him.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. It's absurd, don't you think?
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had anything to do with him.
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell you the news right away. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any...
Right. Because they'll think they've already found the culprit.
Yeah. And it'll be a lot harder then to clear Mr.
I understand. Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just as expected of my... Since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, you're right. This is our best opportunity. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be...
We'll help you, just like you helped us in Lenny's trial.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malus, Silver. When did you two get here?
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson. It's our hope that your confidence...
Thank you so much.
See you then!